All right, so I have been doing really bad. So I started a new job, and because of my personality, everyone there hates me, which I understand. Um I have like this loop that I do stuff to myself. I put myself in these environments. And so last week, two girls said something to me, and it wasn't really, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was like I tried to go out the door and the girl was like, excuse you, and I just ignored her. But social pressures, like social whatever, like really, it really messes my system up, just because now I'm such an introvert, so I already have social anxiety, and then when I have like that type of stuff that happens socially, and then I hear like no one likes me there, which I know that because that, that's just my personality, and that's what I do that to myself. I like have like emotional overload. So I went home, I cried, and I was like, I'm not going back there, they all hate me, they're gonna fight me, they're gonna pull my wig off and make fun of me. I just started crying, and the next day, they're telling me I need to come to work, so I'm getting ready to go to work, and I'm crying on the way, and I'm going home, I can't do this. Then I'm like starting to think about unaliving myself, which now it's a crazy jump. But back like a week ago, it's like, well, I need money for my job. There's no one else is hiring. So if I get fired from here, if I quit, like where else am I gonna go? So I start like, I can't do this. I can't be homeless. And I'm like, well, there's only one way out. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. So I'm like, I'm gonna go get my favorite food and just live in peace the rest of my days, and then for the day, and then just do it tomorrow. And like I was literally like crying the whole day, the whole night, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this, and I'm like thinking, I'm like, but I really don't want to do this. I want to heal, I want to live, but I don't have any other options. I just crying. And I don't know, Sunday because I was gonna quit because I made this a bad toxic environment, because I'm a toxic person, but I can't handle once the environment becomes too toxic. So I can't handle what I put out. And so Sunday I was like, there's no way I can go to work. But I woke up and I was just like, let's just do it. So I went, I minded my own business, I prayed, and there's no drama because no one was there. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just do this day by day. Well, Sunday I also made an appointment with this ketamine place, because I was like, I don't have health care, I need medicine. I'm like starting to like, before, it was like just healing. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have feelings. I was still like dissociated. So I'm just healing, working on trauma, crying about that. But now that I'm feeling, I have bad anxiety. When I look at people, like I feel scared in the pit of my stomach just by eye contact. And so that, and then super like bad depression. And so I what was I about to say? So yeah, I did like the appointment, and I was like, I've already tried 4 times and it wasn't approved, so but we're just gonna try. And so I did. I got approved. I paid the $311, and then they're like, we'll ship it out in a couple days. And I was like, okay, well, I'll live enough to do this ketamine and see like if it is like if it'll help. So yesterday I did my first ketamine session. I did it wrong because, well, I did 200 milligrams, but I did it wrong because you're supposed to put it under your mouth and let it absorb through the blood under your, or like this veins or whatever under your tongue. And I did that, but then afterwards I swallowed it, and you're not supposed to swallow it. So that's probably why I didn't like, it still like was very insightful, but I was only there like in the trip for like maybe 40 minutes. But so yesterday I took it, and I'm chasing the safety that I had when I was younger, like that, I don't know, like the safety I've been chasing. Like I don't want to be like in the front lines of defense. I want to be back. And it's crazy because when I first started the trip, I felt like I was in an ambient sack, and I felt so safe and so protected. And it reminded me of the safety I felt when I was at Hope, because we were in our own little world. We were tucked away, we had gates, you know, it was us, but then we had house parents, then we had people above the house parents, then we had, you know, then we had our fence that, you know, we kept to ourselves. We only hanged out with each other. Like, there was so much safety. I was like so like far away from, like, if there was ever issue, it would always go from like the person at the gate to, you know, the CEO, to then this person, then to the house person, then back to us. Like, I was like very like set back. I wasn't like in the front lines, and now I'm in the front lines, and like I don't have savings, I don't have anything. So if something happens, like, I'm just done. And so I really craved that safety that I had at the children's home, and I felt it when I was in the ambient sac. Like, I heard the noise of it too. Like, but I was there and I felt safe. And now because also then I saw some images of like when I was at the home, where like that I remember that this was stillness, this was calm. So it was like Saturday mornings, everyone was sleeping, and then the little kids, one by one, when you wake up, you'd get dressed, you'd go outside and play. And sometimes I'd be the first one outside, and I would just stand there and look, and I'd see the pond, I'd hear the birds, you know, the feeling of like new morning, like all of that. And I still remember that to this day. And like, that is the peace that since I was younger, I've never had. And it was nice. And then there's this long hallway. It's super dark, and the older you get, you know, the shorter the hallway is. But I remember this long hallway. At the very end was a water fountain. And it was dark, and you just walk to the water fountain. But I just remember it, just looking at this long hallway, because I was always running or walking past it, like whatever, I don't know. But yeah, so that was really, and then I remember us being in the kitchen. We were all sitting at the tables. There's 6 tables, and when I was there that time, there was like 36, 37 people in the home, so it was full. We were all sitting at the tables, and it was just all like a nice chaos. And yeah, those are good memories. And then just like that, it started spinning, and then I just like started like getting smaller, but my body stayed the same. And I got smaller, and then I went inside of my body, so it like spinned, and I was like going inside my body. And then when I went inside my body and seeing what my body's made of, it's when I was really like, oh wow. So, you know, in my body, it was just dark, and there was like kind of like ringing like sirens, but no fire trucks, no alarm systems, like different types of sirens, and there's ringing. And it was dark, and there was nothing, like abandoned playground, you know, like all this space, like different rooms, you know, it's just black, nothing, there's nothing in it. Everything has the feeling of being abandoned. As soon as I was looking at, like, I don't know, this broken toy came into my head. This broken toy came in my head, and I realized other people, you know, they have, you know, all these rooms, you know, and all like functional and just, you know, I don't know. But I had nothing, and nothing was working. You know, I saw like a little spark in the air just stay there, and it was just like chop chop, like sparking, and it was just like didn't work, and it was just like sparking, and just nothing, just darkness, abandoned, nothing functioning, broken toys, what I got. And I realized I was in my nervous system. And because I grew up in chaos, and then my mom was schizophrenic, but she was pretty much on the verge of like a nervous shutdown. So she was like dissociated. She was pretty much almost at the shutdown point, and that's how I grew up. So her shutdown became my baseline, and that's like how my nervous system, it started from her shutdown. And then when I went to the children's home and I didn't have like that one-on-one care, I didn't have anyone to mirror me, to help me, to like grow me into who I needed to be, like I just shut down. So at the age of like 12 is when my nervous system shut down. I didn't mature past then. I didn't change anything. So everything of a 12-year-old I still had. The only difference was I was starting to look different, but my thought process, like everything. It's so funny because the 12-year-olds, everything's funny, and they're like, they're just stupid and like, like just energy. And like I would be like myself, but then when I get to know someone, I would let my personality come out, which was that of a 12-year-old. So then I'd be like, ooh, like, and be stupid, and they'll just be like, this girl's weird. And I didn't even know that until recently. I was like, because I was like, people think I'm weird, I don't know why, and that's why. I don't know what's going with that. Yeah, so my system grew up in shutdown with no parents, in a children's home, in chaos. As I was growing, I had needs, and none of them was met because I didn't know how to communicate them, and also I was in shutdown, so I was in shutdown, so, which I didn't know at the time. So that's why, like, nothing, like, I was the bad kid at Hope. Like, no one knew what to do with me because nothing worked. I didn't have the ability to change. I didn't have the ability to, like, treat others how you want to be treated. I didn't have the reason to even, like, I didn't know what that was. Like, I heard it and I could be like, oh, treat them how you treated. I could say it back, but in my head, I couldn't process anything. Like, I was just shut down. And so I was a pain. And the longer I was there, the worse I got. Just because, when I was first there, it was rough. It was actual, like, detentional kids. And so my personality at that time, when I was still, like, functioning, I grew up, like, in that environment. But then, I stayed from 6 to 20. So at the age of about 14, all of them left, and they started only letting in, like, good kids. So when all the good kids come in, and I can't change, and I'm still that detentional, like, bad kid, I am the bad kid at Hope. And all these good kids are told to stay away from me, and I'm a bad example and all that stuff, because I came at a different time when my system was forming, and I learned how to be with them. And then my system shut down, and then we moved to a different time at that children's home, and now everyone's, very sweet missionary kids, not really missionary kids, but very sweet kids, and I stay the same. So I was a bad kid, and the longer I got there, the different types of people they bring, and they're always better than the ones before, but I got worse. I stay the same. And that's because I was like in the shutdown, and I was just done. What I needed was I needed therapy, and we weren't allowed to have therapists back then. And I understand, because back then therapy and mental health wasn't a thing, to like straighten up, but I had no ability to coach myself, to like, do any of that. So it's just like, I just stayed bad. And then they finally kicked me out. Well, they didn't kick me out, they sent me to college, but they kicked me out in the nicest way possible. They sent me to college with, and I knew that I wasn't gonna make it, because I had they didn't train you for after, they just, they send you off. So they sent me to college. They paid for my first semester, which was $5,000. And then after that, they're like, bye. And I became homeless because I never had any bank accounts. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a phone. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't have, like, I learned, but it's like it was too late, you know, because it's like you have to pay for the semester in advance. I didn't have a job. I've never had a job before. You know, they just like, you know, this is the nicest way we can, because we don't want to put her on the street, so we'll kick her off and send her to college, and then be done, wash our hands. And I mean, I understand, but it's just like that I was homeless after for 9 months because I didn't know. But yeah, so I seen the chaos inside of me. I was just getting zapped. So after I went inside my nervous system and I saw what I was made of, and pretty much I'm like a toy that's like built with like different legs and like duct tape, glue, tape, like rubber band like together, and I don't know how it's still that toy is still functioning. That's me. And so I was there, I seen all my chaos, I saw like I'm just made of like trauma. And then like it started like taking me, you know, most people, they have different experiences. For me, because like nothing was functioning inside of me, I was just getting zapped around to like different shapes. It was like brain rot. Like you're watching like a shape, and it's like, then just like that it switches and it's like another shape, another feeling. Like I was just getting zapped around into that, and it was just like that. It was like such a chaotic experience, but it's like that is my nervous system. And so after my ketamine session, which I think is very insightful, because now I know what safety feels like. I was laying in bed last night and I felt that safety. Like I went back to that, where I remember I feel like my dream showed me that I can have the safety, and the safety I'm craving, I can also give myself the safety. Like I have it in me. And so I was laying in bed last night and I felt the safety. I was like, felt very safe, and which is good. But so I went into my nervous system, I seen what I'm made of. Okay, sorry there. I don't want them to hear me. But yeah, so I was laying in bed and I felt the safety, and I felt safe, so that's good. But yeah, I'm doing 8 sessions. So I did one. I started at 200 milligrams, and then my second dose I want to go up to 400. But so I felt safety. I've learned what's inside of me. I went inside my nervous system and I saw everything. And you know, it's like, imagine like someone that grew up healthy, you know, everything's in their nervous system's all pink, and they have a room of flowers and a room of where you feel love, and a room, like different rooms that are in their body. Someone that grew up healthy, and then it's me, and I just have nothing, just darkness, chaos, not functioning, you know. And it made me cry, but now I know. And then also I realized that because my nervous system is built on chaos, and I'm chaos inside, that's why I crave chaos, and that's why my outer world is always chaotic. That's why I love scrolling, because you know, you're watching one thing, getting emotions, next you're just scrolling, and you're just getting those different hits. And that's why I'm always on social media. I haven't spent a day in like 6 years off of social media, because I need that type of chaotic whatever to match my nervous system. And so yeah, that made me it's really sad, but also it was a very good experience for my first one, because I know what's inside of me and what I'm running off of. And then after like, so it's been 24 hours and like 20 hours. But I don't feel depressed. So I have depressive disorder, just because since I was at a children's home, I was depressed, and I didn't know it, but now that I know it, so like I've like survived, like my whole life, my like baselines have been so low, and yeah, I just wake up and I don't have any hope about the future. I know I'm not gonna do it. Like, I just don't care. And I just lie in bed and I just work to pay my bills, and then that's it. I scroll the rest of my time away. Like, the more I'm like starting to become present, the more like the depression is like it's deeper. Like, it feels way like before the ketamine, and a couple days before like the whole thing at work, I was waking up for that whole week. So not this week or last week, so the week prior, I was waking up in the middle of the night just crying, because I just don't know what to do with my life. I have no purpose, I have no way out, I can't feel, and so yeah, my depression symptoms has been really bad, but they've getting worse. So that, and then I'm super stressed. I'll lay in bed, which I have chronic stress, but I'll lay in bed and I'll do my breath work, and it expels that stress. But I can feel in my body like the stress is building up, and then like in like 5 minutes I feel like tense, and so I have bad stress. So I do take ashwagandha morning and night. But the ketamine helps with those. Also, I have OCD. I have compulsive thoughts, and they're always about something that I'm like I have phobias, and so I'll have a compulsive thought about my phobia, and it grosses me out, and I'll have panic attacks, because like, it's a phobia. You don't want to think about something you hate, but then my brain keeps bringing it back, and it makes me like break down. So I have bad compulsive thoughts, and then anxiety. I can't be around people anymore. I have social anxiety. The feeling of being like scared in the gut if you did something wrong, like I feel that when I make eye contact. I'm like hyper vigilant. I'll look at someone, but I'll be watching them watch me. So if they make a weird face, and it doesn't even have to be about me, I associate that with something I'm doing. So then I change the way I look. Like, I'll be more happy or whatever, but then that like makes me like look weird, and then it's like, I am not, like, my personality is not a happy person. So it's like, then when I start being normal, they're like, okay, this girl's like not in a good mood, and I'm like, nope, that's just not my personality, and I just have so much issues that I can't deal with. I don't have the tools. And like, before, I didn't want to get medicine because I wasn't dealing with this. I was dealing with processing trauma and crying about the grief of my life, and knowing that if I had a parent, I would have a whole different life, and if I had someone to show me what stability looks like, I would be a stable person. Like, that's what I was dealing with before. But then like this second half, when I started, like, when I went from, so that was when I was in freeze. So I was in emotional shutdown, so I didn't feel anything, and then I went to freeze, and that's when I started processing emotions, journaling, crying a lot. And then I went to present. Like, I'm in the middle of I'm teetering freeze and present, so I'll drop into present, and then I'll go back to freeze, but the presence is where I'm like, where you feel all these emotions. So I'll drop into presence for 30 seconds, and I'll feel anxiety, and like, I've never, like, so I feel anxiety, depression, like all this stuff is new. And because I'm like out of freeze and into presence, but I'm not fully into presence. But in presence is when you start feeling emotions. So I started in June. I'm dropping into presence and like going more into presence, and then that's when all these emotions started coming that I've never dealt with before. And you know, I'm dealing with the emotions now, but then I'm also dealing with the emotions I had right before I went to freeze when I was 12. So from 12 all the way to 27, I have all this backlog. On top of that, these new emotions. So it's like I'm super, like I've never even thought depression was a thought thing. I'm like, I didn't even understand the concept of like unaliving yourself. I'm like, why, you know? But it's like now I have all of that. And so, yeah, I just need help. And I understand that I am, the common denominator everywhere I go, every job I go. I'm always the one that's in drama. I'm always the one that no one likes because I'm just stuck into my own patterns. Like I can't change until I'm fully in presence. So I was just like, I need to, that's why at this job, like, I'm not blaming anybody. Like, this is like the 9th job I've been in. And like, no one likes me. Like, I'm not blaming anyone. Like, I understand. I just need to change, like, learn how to get present so I can change myself. So I really, really was like wanting to do ketamine because I don't have insurance. Also, I don't have money, and I need help. So yeah, I did the ketamine, which I pay $311 for 3 months, and that goes eight doses. So I did my first dose. And today I immediately feel better. I am present. Before I was present for like a couple minutes. Now I'm present for, a couple hours. So that's good. Also, I never before, I slept for only about 5-6 hours. I started this year sleeping more, but usually it's about 5 hours. And I was still like dissociated and like in survival mode in my sleep. So it's like when I'm sleeping, my body's still protecting me for myself. So I never got REM sleep, and I never, in REM sleep, you start processing stuff, and I never ever got to do that. So yesterday, after my ketamine session, I took a nap, and I woke up and I knew that I was in REM sleep, and I knew that I was emotional, like processing stuff. Like I had a dream, but the dream was about real life scenarios, and I felt like the emotions that I feel in real life in my dreams. So that's emotional processing. And so I was like, oh wow, like this dream, it's all different people, but it matches my real life scenario. It's really weird. And then I went to bed last night, woke up, and also like I had a dream. Different scenarios just zapped me around, but it was from when I was still at Hope, and it was, all the same people, but it was all just like the emotions I felt then. And I was feeling them in my dream. So that's emotional processing. So I haven't been I've never done that. I've done that about 4 or 5 times in my life. And so now I know that now I have like a backlog of all this stuff I got to process in my dreams. But I mean, that's a good sign for me. So yeah, I feel safety. I am present for hours at a time, which before I was present for minutes. My depression, and I heard that it only stays away for a couple days because it's my first session, but my depressive like symptoms have gone away. I'm happy right now. And then I'm REM sleeping and emotionally processing. And I haven't got in public yet just because I did it on my day off. So I don't know how yet when I go to work, if I still have anxiety or, if I get into, I'll get into fight or flight, like my body will freak out about smiling, I'll like do like this, and my body will go into like freak out, like they can tell you're smiling, you look fake, and then I'll just like stop smiling, and then people think I'm mad. But yeah, I'm really happy with these results. And this was just one session, and I didn't even do it right. I swallowed the stuff instead of spit it out, but I'm very happy with the results so far. And I think that the more I do it, the better results, the more results I get. Also, I do feel energy. I don't feel like just like staying in bed I usually just sleep my whole weekends and just scroll, but I know I'm in that window where I can form new habits, and I don't want to form bad habits. So I do want to stop my addiction. It does help with addictions. I do want to stop my addictions with scrolling, just because I want to live a more peaceful, still life. and which is hard because my body, the way it's wired, peacefulness, stillness, like it is equals boring in my head, you know, chaotic, like Instagram, new picture every 5 seconds. That is living to me, which is will cause problems in the future if, you know, I get in a relationship that's very peaceful and I equate it with boringness, and I feel like I need to start drama to get in a relationship, you know, that's not going to be good. Or if I don't know, I gotta rewire my brain to know that stillness is peacefulness, it's not boring. And so, yeah. Yep.